Hi there. I'm some jerk on the internet, and it's time for the Sunday tradition of watching Kent Hovind's Sunday stream because that's all we freaking do around this place is watch Kent Hovind. Not really, but it seriously feels like that because that's kind of the focus is observing, monitoring, and commenting on the relative craziness coming out of that man's mouth and the happenings of DAL. Why? I don't really know. It just is one of those things where once I was made aware of the person while he was still in prison, and I was like, okay, this guy's a bit of a weirdo. There's a certain, comedicness about it. But then when he got out, he got goofier from his older content. I learned from Logic who he was, and then, I'd eventually see people debate him, and that was his own thing. And then eventually I started watching AJ's reaction stuff because AJ's freaking cool. I enjoyed, I don't know how I discovered him, but I enjoyed his style and stuff, and obviously was inspired to do my own take on that same kind of reaction content. And here we are with me knee deep in all of the Hovind waste. So, yeah, I don't know. Just felt like explaining that. I also thought it'd be fun, real quick. I had brought this up last night, and I've made the reference a few times. Yeah, I'm doing a little preamble here. Give me some time. Just let a little group come in. I like to make the joke World Wide Web of the internet and say that it's a reference to something. And I shared the video in Discord of the presentation at DEF CON from Jason Scott that it's actually from. Well, I went through arduously last night and found the exact point in the legal document that he shows in his video where he gets sued for $2 billion to show the exact page 28 from paulandrewmitchell.com, which Jason Scott owns, and it documents all of this craziness from 25 years ago nearly. We just have this hilarious text of the whole deal is dude is trying to sue over a SovSit. Like, it relates to Hovind in that it's a SovSit bullshit book that he put on out there, like on floppy disk and online and had free. But then he's like, no, I don't want it out there anymore. And so he started trying to sue everybody through SovSit tactics. It was ridiculous. But that's what the subject is. And it's just funny because he's like, no one ever requested plaintiff's permission to modify the subject book and then to make modified derivatives available for free on the World Wide Web of the internet. No one ever obtained plaintiff's permission to modify the subject book and then to make modified derivatives available for free on the World Wide Web of the internet. No one. Absolutely no one. It's like, what madness is this? And I love that World Wide Web of the internet is technically the correct way to refer to it. Because you have the web, shortened for World Wide Web. World Wide Web, HTML pages and the like, are a layer on top of the broader structure of the internet. So what kills me about it is it's so technically correct in a lawsuit that is complete crazy. And it amused me to the point where I started using it as something I say regularly. But all right, enough of that. We're going to share this tab. This tab is just as weird. It is, of course, Hovind's YouTube page that totally doesn't exist, but it exists. I popped in and actually watched a bit of the stream live. Asked, hey, am I still shadow banned? And didn't get a response. So I'm like, yep, I'm still shadow banned. No, actually, I said blacklisted. Same difference. Yeah, so let's go on and just get down to it. I've had enough preamble. Biblical characters. Abednego. Oh no, we'll see how Hovind pronounces it. Then we'll ask Laura how to pronounce it.
Alabama, 70 degrees out there right now. You folks up north, come on down.
Oh, and yeah, the quality of the stream is absolute dog shit. Like, their internet wasn't having it, and apparently it's super low volume again. So I apologize. I'll boost Hovind on my end as best I can.
It is December 28th, 2025. Today we'll be in a different Bible character, a guy named Abednego. You ever heard of Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego?
I know about Shabernigdo. I know Zumi gets that reference. I don't know who else does, but I know Shabernigdo.
About him this morning. So you ever have ups and downs in your life? Good times, bad times, good times, bad times. This guy went through the mill. See how he came out. You'll like it. Okay, we're on a bunch of different channels. By the way, they took us off of YouTube, 5 different times, Joseph?
My God, I thought he wasn't going to say it, and then he fucking says it. By the way, they took us off YouTube. You're still on there, you dumb fuck. You don't care. YouTube doesn't really care, only when it becomes something that they think they need to look into. I'm surprised this channel's lasted this long, but let's see what you have to say.
We lost a lot of videos. If some of you people out there recorded some, Joseph, can you make a list of what we're missing?
Recorded some. They would have been downloaded. And actually, I know of a couple of people who had or have archives. The problem is they're both complete douchebags. Like in their own group outside of you. So no, we won't be getting those. We won't be getting those archives. It is what it is. I'm not going to be friends with somebody who is pretty shitty just to get access to their Hovind archive.
Okay, post it online if anybody has any of those. Otherwise, I got to redo it all. I got all the slides. I can do it, but I want to do the sermons, you know. I got plenty going on without that. So contact Joseph, tech support, TECH, tech support at drdino.com. Let's see, we're on Facebook, on Rumble, on X, everyone app, KentHovind.tv, on Instagram, on TikTok. Sign up for all of them. They'll take us off of something eventually because they can't handle the truth. Okay.
Squeaky laptop. I'm going to ignore that. They'll take us off because we can't handle the truth because for some reason the squeaky laptop amuses me. And Dino Lamp is powered on. All hail Dino Lamp.
Okay. Here we are right there. You ever feel like you're on a roller coaster? Anybody had that up, down, up, down, up, down? What do? Well, maybe studying Abednego's life will help you this morning. Here we are. We had a great time at Christmas. A lot of visitors came here. We want to help strengthen your faith in the Word of God. Here we are, the 28th. A couple more days this year. I mentioned in my for our supporters that support TikTok and Rumble this morning about Jesus and Luke.
I apologize because when I came in near the end of the stream, it was still choppy garbage. So, this is just going to be how this is. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the video. Also, 25 Ember. That just amuses me.
252. I use this as an illustration with the way trees grow, all four directions. Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and favor with God and favor with man. 4 areas of life. At the end of every year, I take time to get alone, shut off the phone, and think about how am I doing in my 4 areas? Wisdom, mental. Are you growing? Are you learning anything new?
Yes and yes. I consider myself growing every day, as opposed to Caillou's little bitch ass from the cartoon, who's, God, I never realized when my sister was young and she'd be watching Caillou just how much of a prick that kid is. But like, man, that kid is terrible. That cartoon is terrible. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I consider myself growing as a person every day, and I certainly consider myself learning something new every day. In fact, a day that I don't learn something new is a wasted day to me.
With stature, physics, are you taking care?
And I'm going to be real, Kent. I'm going to be very, very real here. I kind of enjoy that you're doing these Bible character studies so that I can legitimately learn something. Because for me, it actually would work better to follow a character story more than just have these events kind of happen in the book as they do. Now, granted, most of the chapters that do follow a character focus on that character, as you would expect from any piece of written context, and it's a complete book. You know, the Bible's multiple smaller books compiled together, so it makes sense. But seeing this in a slightly greater context, even with your flawed approach, still has value, and I still learn something from it. So while we facetiously say, you know, no one's ever learned anything from you, technically I have, but you can learn anything from anybody. What matters is the value of that information and how accurate it is. And while my community who knows this stuff has disagreed with a lot of your opinions on stuff, and of course we all agree in the broad sense on whether this is reality or not, what you preach, you're talking about a character that most definitely exists in the story, and you're going to tell us that story as best you can. So there's that going for it.
For your body? Are you stronger than you used to be? Are you overweight? You know, how's your physical part doing?
I am a little overweight, but I'm also pretty damn jacked. I got kind of a prototype sumo build going on, not super fat, but it's like there's the normal belly fat for a guy who's 40, and then everything under there is raw muscle. Come on, kid, let's wrestle now. But But I can heave some shit because I do it work pretty regularly.
In favor with God, that's the spiritual part, and in favor with man, the 4 areas of life.
People can fuck off. Any deities out there, they probably fucking love me. Why? Because I got an ego as big as theirs. Which I really don't, but I fake it. Fake it till you make it. Hovind.
So anyway, if you want to be a supporter, how do they do that, Joseph? Support us on TikTok.
Yeah, you just go to the subscribers area
Subscriber
on Facebook and on TikTok.
on Facebook and TikTok. Okay. Anyway, we do a show at 9:30, just a short show to thank you for your help. Let's see. Birthday coming up. For me. Wow, okay. Let's see. 10-year anniversary, April 16th. This will be the 10 years of getting this property. We'd like to finish the arc. If you're a carpenter, plumber, electrician, or just a grunt who can dig a ditch, okay? We'll give you your pilot's license. Here's your shovel. And I'll take this dirt and pile it over here. And you can help us build the ark, okay? We are an old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, chicken-eating Baptist church, okay?
I was about to say, you're also frozen.
We believe God made everything in 6 days, just like he said he did. The earth is not billions of years old. Dinosaurs lived with man, and evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. Come join us for any.
Wow, that's nice. Has nothing to do with Bible characters. How about you focus on the Bible characters and instead of putting your fake holy war into everything? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's y'all's bread and butter. Gotta mention the holy war. And give me money.
Holidays, you don't have a family, we'll be your family. Come on down. Help us to open for free. Join our 777 club and just go to drdino.com or call the secretaries, either 855-BIG-DINO extension 1 or extension 2. Somebody will answer. If you call 3, I'll answer, but I don't know what's going on, so it doesn't matter. So drdino.com. There we go. Almost 10 years now we've been open for free. Let's see. I want to go to slide number 252. There's first mention of a guy named Abednego is in Daniel chapter 1. This guy.
By the way, one of Hovind's followers, Sea Science Film Labs, has popped into my comments on some stuff saying, like, hope you can call in next week. And he was talking about some of the chemtrail chicanery that was in the previous video. He's not being a prick at all. Like, he's just being moderate Hovindite, so I ain't even mad. So if you end up looking through my comments and see them, feel free to respond. I'm not going to do anything unless they cross a line for me. So far, they've been all right. And the 2 comments I've seen pop up on my phone.
Abednego is mentioned 15 times in the Bible, all of them in the book of Daniel. Only place is ever mentioned. Who on earth is Abednego? What can we learn from him? Well, start with a guy named Jehoiakim. He was called the tattooed king of Judah. To understand today's character, Abednego, we need to study a little of Israel's history. Okay? Jehoiakim became king of Israel when he was 18, and he was wicked. He should have and could have followed his godly fathers. He had a godly dad, but he was wicked. Some people just.
Okay, does that dude have like a combo of makeup and tattoos going on? Like, he's all dark, but then it's like pale face there, and then all that. I mean, what is going on here? Whatever it is, it's kind of cool. Looks like some straight Guild Wars shit, honestly.
Don't follow the leadership of their dad, and maybe you shouldn't if the dad's wicked. But if you got a good dad, follow his leadership. Okay, here we go. In Jeremiah, since the day that our fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt unto this day, I've even sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them. God sent prophets. He always sent people to warn his children in Israel when they were doing something.
Yes, I probably still have the little slide that the sound issues are on Kent's end. I should probably put that up, but I find it a little distracting. Yeah, their stream quality is terrible for this one. Absolutely terrible.
Wrong. Read Isaiah, Ezekiel. God sent them to warn them. The prophet Jeremiah wrote God's message to Jehoiakim on a scroll. He wrote out, here's what God wants you to do, Jehoiakim. They read a couple pages of it in front of Jehoiakim, who was 23 by the time. He'd been king since he was 18. Got the big head for being king for 5 years. And he cut the pieces up and burned it. Jeremiah chapter 36. So the king sent Jehudi, I wouldn't want a name like that, to fetch the roll, and he took it out of Elishama the scribe's chamber, and Jehudi read it in the ears of the king in the ears of all the princes which stood before the king. Now the king sat in the winter house in the 9th month, and there was a fire on the hearth burning.
Ah, see, that king's so rich, he's got winter and summer homes. Impale the bastard on a pike.
It came to pass when he had read 3 or 4 leaves, he cut it with the penknife and cast it into the fire. So finally, God got sick of sending his messengers to this guy to warn him, and God allowed wicked King Nebuchadnezzar, next country over, to come capture them and made them slaves. God often used heathen neighbors to punish Israel.
You know, couldn't the god have just popped down directly? At that point, wouldn't the person have been like, well, son of a bitch, okay, I'm going to stop being an asshole? But then again, your god is kind of a dick, especially in weird things like this of, you know, using other tribes to get his way. It's like he's playing a really screwed up game of Age of Empires where he is controlling every civilization on the map.
Israel for their sins. When they would go off into,
I would say it's like playing Civilization, but this is a regional conflict. You know, everything in the Bible takes place in an area about the same size as the state of New Jersey, so.
sin and do something stupid, you can read 2 Kings 17. There's a story, 2 Chronicles 36, Jeremiah 18. God would use the heathen next door as his whipping post, his club to beat them, okay? Maybe
imagine having one house.
does that today with some of his children. You haven't somebody giving you a hard time? You know, landlord over money or car breaking down, or I don't know, but sometimes.
Hey, Kent, you know what would solve that problem? Socialism. You don't owe a landlord money because the housing is provided, because you're contributing to society in some meaningful way, and your efforts and resources get aggregated together. Worried about your car? Oh, don't worry, mechanic costs are nothing because people in this country need to have transit from A to B. So ensuring that the car is maintained in the same way as ensuring that our bodies are maintained creates a functional workforce that improves overall productivity of the nation and of itself. Don't need to worry about it. The money you earn, credit you get from stuff, if such a system exists in the kinds of hypothetical proper societies that should exist with the civilization levels we've already reached, would be spent on whatever the hell the person wants for enjoyment, entertainment, for fun, for private transactions. I want to pay this person to commission a piece of art specifically for me. Okay, cool. You know, that kind of stuff. Your needs are taken care of. Socialism would take care of that. And your kings with multiple houses, you know, your Donald Trumps and your Elon Musks and your Jeff Bezoses and the like, wouldn't be hoarding all the wealth.
Sometimes bad things happen and it's your fault. You got a good time to examine yourself. Go look in the mirror. God, am I causing this? So anyway, they're hauled off from Jerusalem clear over to Babylon. This is about 600 BC. Captured a bunch of them, took them off to be slaves. Babylon was quite an interesting city back then. The Ishtar Gate in Babylon is interesting. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Jerusalem and besieged it. What that means is they would camp all the way around the city and don't let anybody in or out. Wait till they slowly run out of groceries. No Walmarts back in those days, okay? No home delivery. The Lord.
You know, Kent, you shouldn't really have to make those kinds of jokes if your audience was educated enough on the differences between then and now to already know that, you know, the things are different. That laying siege meant the invading army was in your fucking fields. So, let alone the fact you couldn't leave the city walls, your fields were trampled by the enemy. You were fucked even if the siege broke. Anyone historically minded would know. And your joke just kind of falls on deaf ears at that point. It's like, yeah, okay, it's not really that funny. These were serious, brutal combat tactics. But that's what happens once civilization began and we started cementing ourselves to locations.
The Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessel. This is important. He did not take... See, Jeremiah knew this was coming. He'd been warning the king. So Jeremiah hid some of the temple furniture, the Ark of the Covenant, some of that stuff in a cave, which was then discovered about, 40 years, 30 years ago by Ron Wyatt. I firmly believe he found it. Go to Wyatt Museum, WYATT.com.
God, this stream is unwatchable. And if you pray to the Lord of Nightmares, Ruby Eyes Shabernigdo, he will answer your prayers, whether you want him to or not. Fact.
And read the story about that. So he took part of the vessels. The rest of them had been hidden by Jeremiah. He took them to his God and put them up in his house of his God. Okay, who's this guy Jehoiakim? Well, he was a wicked leader. One wicked leader in the country or family can destroy the whole country. You ever heard of Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, Jezebel? Come on.
What? Okay.
Cambodia guy, whatever his name is.
Cambodia guy. Pol Pot? I mean, you're bringing up, aside from Hitler being inspired by Mussolini's fascist structure, they weren't really kind of related beyond the fact that everyone agrees that they were kind of evil, although I don't know your Jezebel thing. I know that's got to be some kind of biblical reference that I just don't fucking care about, because I don't care about anything in your stupid book of fairy tales. But you want to say Cambodia guy, you mean Pol Pot? Now, I want to make something clear, Kent, because I don't think you and your other clodhoppers understand this, is that I'm socialist as all fuck. But I'm not going to agree with but anything with Pol Pot, really. I have obviously strong disagreements with many principles, philosophies, actions taken by Stalin and many Soviet leaders. That's because those actions exist independently of socialist structures or the attempt at communist utopia that was being gone for by any given nation. And that if the initial idea, that may be okay in the grand schemes, but the execution was terrible, that doesn't automatically make the idea bad in and of itself. However, ideas like what Dolphy Boy and the like thought are intrinsically bad regardless. I was going to say were, but they are, because people still seem to feel that way. In much the same way that a great many of the ideals that people like you and, Charlie Kirk and Donnie Boy and both Donnie Boys and all of you right-wing fuckwits feel should be the law of the land are horrible ideas by default. I have the idea that morality is subjectively objective, in that a group consensus ends up creating what amounts to an objective status of things in that moment, in that situation. But that it's still at the root subjective. But things like your bigoted bullshit, Dolphy Boy's ideas and the like, Pol Pot's ideas, no one but the craziest of people would agree with those ideas. And so from their little sphere, the ideas would objectively appear okay because of their subjective consciousness. But for the rest of the sane world, things aren't looking so rosy. It's pretty appalling, some of the ideas. And it's weird, Kent, that you wish to use biblical terms, cast stones on the actions of those vile creatures from the past, ignoring that you try to tie that into the scientific fact of evolution all the time. That you wish to throw stones on that end when you and your ilk are no different. You wish to oppress others, subjugate minorities, kill the opposition. You revel in violence, in pure oppression, pure destruction of anything that isn't aligned with your particular ideals. And that's just not how society works. Not a good society. But of course, people like you see exterminating those who would be against such a society run by your own ideals as a perfect solution to the problem. So, yeah.
Here's the Ishtar Gate in Babylon today. Did you know all over that Ishtar Gate in 600 BC, they had dinosaurs?
No, they didn't, except birds. Also, okay. So now you've moved on to your slide about this. Hey, Kent, you still gonna ignore that Stalin took down the Nazis? You gonna ignore the rapid industrialization of a nation in a quarter of a century? The incredible achievements done? Yeah, he was a piece of shit. Yeah, he fucked a lot of stuff up. But the things that man did right, holy shit, he did right.
Yeah, dinosaurs always lived with man. Watch my video number 3 for more evidence about that creation.
Watch my video number 3. You can buy the whole set for $50. Joseph, put up the link or I'm shoving this probe up your ass again.
Our part 3. Okay. Jehoiakim's 11-year reign was disastrous. Although he had opportunity to follow his father Josiah's righteous example, Jehoiakim turned evil. Jeremiah described him as a presumptuous ruler who abused his people, persecuted and murdered God's servants.
Oh, wait, for a second I forgot that Kent's video feed is delayed massively, so yeah.
This is, weaponized Justice Department going after God's people, like they're doing in some African countries now. And praise God, Trump's going in there explaining it to the ISIS guys. Don't do that.
No. Also, once again, I have to point this out. Y'all obsess over saying this idea that he's the president of peace, yet you celebrate him attacking Iran. You celebrate this what the fuck idea of going over and doing shit with ISIS again. Since when were they suddenly a big deal again? I thought the region had semi-stabilized. And oh yeah, y'all are all for funding Israel to the nth degree, and giving them every weapon possible to continue to commit an outright genocide. But you talk about being the religion of peace, that's Islam, being the people of peace, and you talk about, well, you claim you're a religion of peace as well, Christianity, but it's not as much of an ingrained thing in the name so much as it is with Islam. But you claim to be anti-war, yet all that y'all ever talk about is attacking other nations and doing this and fighting this and opposing that. And this has been a thing for years. Where it's just like, what the fuck? Hell, you changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War for no fucking reason, just because Trump likes to do shit like that. So, which is it, fuckers? Are you the warmongering fuckwits we all know you are? Or are you about peace because your actions don't speak such? By the way, I still love how in 2021, no one celebrated the 10-year anniversary of the takedown of Osama bin Laden. Had it been a Republican president who did it, y'all have been all over that. You'd try to make it a national holiday, but because it happened under Obama's watch, because Bush was incompetent and couldn't get shit done, yeah, you just let that, blow over. Don't think I didn't notice that, and don't think I won't continue to bring it up.
God instructed Jeremiah to prophesy, unless they repented, Jehoiakim and Jerusalem would fall. And they sure did. Jeremiah 36. Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Babylonian Empire, conquered Jerusalem twice. In the 6th century, the first conquest in 596-7 BC.
Yeah, Tyler, I hope that is exactly why. It's like, oh shit, Dino Lamp's off. We have angered Lord Yamato. It's cooler when Dino Lamp is on. If it's up there, it should be on. I notice Pope Dan is... Oh, wait, it's right over there on the side. The framing cuts it off. I'm about to say Pope Dan is gone. Seriously, Kent, the Pope Dan thing looks really creepy. You might want to take that down. And honestly, it's too damn busy up here. So you may want to take down some of that stuff as well.
Then he rebelled again, and they had to smack him around again. So we got the creation of the world 6,000 years ago. 4,400 years ago was the flood. Then after that, in about 600 BC, comes the time of Daniel. You read the book of Daniel. Jeremiah took time at this place. Okay, so we blow that chart up. Moses leads them out of Egypt. They had judges ruling the country for a while.
All right, glad to have you back in. Yeah, I guess YouTube is doing that lovely thing where it's unsubscribing. Is my stuff still switched to subscriber only? Because I had that toggled on one of the streams. Did it default back to that, and that's why you can't comment? Huh. I'm gonna have to look into that. Double check settings and the like. Yeah, glad to have you here. And likes blowing up Venezuelan boats as well. Yeah, good point. It's not ISIS, it's ISIL and Boko Haram. They're killing Muslims and Christians. Yeah.
Finally, God gave him kings. So there's a period
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely shit going on over there, but the way the way Kent just glibly said that stuff was just like, yeah.
of time where they had kings over the nation, and then they're hauled off to captivity. Daniel in Babylon. Now, Babylon does not mean where you just keep talking and talking. I know people that do that. Have you heard any, Joseph?
Yeah, you're one of them, Kent.
You ready? Just Babylon.
Yes, sir.
I get him on the phone call. Just Babylon. I can set the phone down, go fix lunch, take a nap, come back. Oh yeah, put it back. Okay.
And you know he totally does that. He never listens to anybody.
So they're going to haul him from Jerusalem to Babylon. That's modern day Iraq, by the way. Here they are here. They're going to haul him over here. The king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs.
No, no, no. I'm the master of Unix. I am running FreeBSD 15 on a goddamn rack mount server, shoved into the little closet where the air conditioner is. I'm literally running Unix as we speak. My main system's Windows, but my Linux laptop's running right there. It's Unix-like. BSD, Unix-like. I was fucking trying to get on my VPS a virtual machine setup of NetBSD 1.5.2 to make public access so that, kind of like the SDF project, which started as a BBS, I can have a little side niche where me and a few other geeks can work on an old, relatively old as fuck, from circa Y2K, old version of BSD Unix to play around with, have fun. No. I'm the master of Unix. And yes, I know what you mean. I know what is being referred to here. That joke, however, the Unix joke, was made in an episode of Computer Chronicles talking about the Unix, UNIX, operating system from Bell Labs. Yes, it's a Bell system product. Love that. And that same joke was made because up until the computer scene really took off to the degree that it did, and even then, it took a while for people outside of like super nerds to know Unix concepts. Yeah, all anyone thought was the Unix, which just look it up if you don't know. EUNICH, I believe. I'm the Lord of Unix. You can be the Lord of Unix. Get it? Got it? Good.
You know what eunuchs are? They take all the boys and make them where they can't have babies anymore, okay? That he should bring certain of the children of Israel, of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom is no blemish, but well favored, skillful in all wisdom, of the king's seed. Yeah, let's get some of the, probably the king had a bunch of kids. Well favored, good looking kids, skillful in all wisdom.
Hey, Joe, glad to see you. Everyone tell Joe how awesome he did last night. He's already seen my, he's watched the video and he's seen my reply comments to his stuff. He verified, yeah, it's fuel dumping from that one image, so it's good to know that I was right on that. Get the verification from someone else. But yeah, let our boy know how freaking awesome he did, because he did.
Cunning in knowledge and understanding science. Yeah, let's get the smart ones. And if you believe in evolution, you do not understand science.
And good point, that Greater Babylon map was a little fishy.
Okay? You believe evolution, your religion is part of science, and you really don't understand science.
No, Kent, people really do. Also, if you're going to talk about the Bible and Bible characters, just talk about the Bible and Bible characters. Stop constantly interjecting your stupid-ass holy war against science. Seriously. It's petty as fuck, Kent. If you're going to be a preacher and you're going to actually do Bible studies and you're actually going to talk about Bible characters, do Bible studies and talk about Bible characters. And maybe, just maybe, resist the urge to throw in random stupid quips all the time about evolution this, evolution that. If you want to talk about evolution so much, then just fucking talk about evolution and stop being a preacher in any conventional sense. You'll do all of us a big favor. Pick a lane, dude.
Joseph, when I say stuff like that, does that make a man upset?
Just a little bit.
Good. Okay.
You make him upset. You know, you're going to look back at this and be like, see, it did. And it's like, no, it didn't make me upset. It's just, it deserves being responded to. It's not the fact that you said that. It's that you chose to interject needlessly into something that could go so much more smoothly and be more properly taught. That's another hint that you're not a good teacher and that you never were a proper teacher, because any actual educator knows to keep focus and only branch out where necessary. You immediately go off on tangents. But Chris, don't you do the same? Yes, I do. But that's the fun of a reaction stream. I'm reacting to the content presented, thus transforming it with my additions into my own work. Amalgamation of me, you know, of what I think in responding to whatever Hovind puts out. Hovind, however, is trying to use this stuff as actual like material that has lasting value. And while I do as well, insofar as this provides entertainment and is a reaction to the exact video in question, still, Hovind thinks that it'll be worth bringing up these videos 5 years down the line, when it's going to be weird him talking about various current events and talking to Joseph, like watching one of his old videos if he was whining about Biden getting elected and still had Steve Lynn there, and, you know, was asking Steve things. It just looks so weird. Or especially when you watch an old Hovind video and he brings up names of nobody who's at DAL anymore. It's like, there you go. That should show you, Kent. Your rotating staff of nitwits.
Had the ability in them to stand in the king's palace, whom they might teach the learning on the tongue of the Chaldeans. Somebody smart enough to learn another language. The Chaldeans had a complex belief system centered around a pantheon of deities, a whole bunch of gods. And they got to learn all. These guys are taken away from Jerusalem, king's children, and
it's not hard to learn. You've got Duena, Balthazar, Lissa, not Alyssa, Lissa, Melandru, Abaddon, son of a bitch. I forgot one of the 6. And we're going old school. We're talking the original 6. Duena, Lissa, Abaddon, Balthazar, Grinth, and Duena. Then Abaddon was cast out. Cormier absorbed his power, and Cormier ascended to godhood in like 1030 something, I believe. And then circa 1240, Balthazar, spoiler alert for Path of Fire and Guild Wars 2, Balthazar went rogue, and eventually you kind of kill him, so it's back to the 5 again. Although no one told the Balthazar worshippers. So for a small period of time, it was the 6. It's not hard to remember, man. It's not hard at all. And, you know, if you were Char in the old days, you worshiped the Titans. They don't do that anymore, though. The Char are kind of pagan. Let's see. There's a group of, I believe, Grawl in Frostbite Gorge that worship a statue of I think it's actually a Duena statue that they put sticks on and turn into another deity, and no one bothers to correct them on it. I forget some of the other theologies in the Guild Wars universe, and pretty much everyone in Ilona, i.e. the Middle East of the Guild Wars universe, pretty much worships Cormier, which makes sense. That's where she's from. She was a Sunspear Marshal. Yeah. It's not hard to remember, though. I just forget Grinth because it doesn't really come up in the story very much. Like, even tangentially, there's like one. There's Grinth's reliquary, and there's one temple at the tail end of the personal story you go to. So I just, for some reason, I forget him. But yeah, Cormir, Duena, Balthazar, Grinth, Lissa, Melandra. There you go.
Princes taken off, made to learn about all the stupid gods of Babylon. They believed in a supreme god, Anu, who ruled the heavens and maintained cosmic order, and Enlil, the god of wind, storms, and agriculture, who was considered the king of the gods and determined human fate, and Enki, the god of water, wisdom, and civilization. They got all these stupid gods. Look, there's only one God, okay? Here's what we know about Abednego so far. He is a survivor of the siege in Jerusalem. Finally, they surrendered. He was one of the king's children. Maybe his own dad was Jehoiakim. The Bible doesn't say, but he might have been wicked King Jehoiakim's son. He was handsome. He was smart. He understood science. He was able to learn all the silly gods and a foreign language. And then he was made a eunuch. Look that up, okay? What do we know about this guy? He went from being a pampered prince in Israel to a slave headed for Babylon. That's the first emotional trip down. So I'm going to study the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride this poor guy went on. Here he is, a young teenager, hauled off, made a eunuch. In Babylon, he was selected to go to college to be the king's palace. Oh, that's going up now, getting better. He got selected to go through the stupid training they had, 3 years of training. The king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and some of the wine which he drank, nourishing them 3 years at a 3-year college program.
What the hell is that emoticon? What the hell is that? Can anyone identify that emoticon? Because I fucking love it. I'm not kidding. That is... Oh, I love it. He's just like... That is the face of something that will never erase the memory of what it just witnessed. It just walked in on its mom having sex with Hitler. You know?
End thereof, they might stand before the king. We're going to train these guys. You got to learn the language, learn all of our gods, learn our customs, and then you can come be one of the king's advisors or counselors or senators, whatever you want to call them. Among the
You know what would have helped them learn all those deities' names is if they had access to the World Wide Web of the Internet. Ha ha! Folding back to the beginning of the stream, yeah.
these were the children of Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince.
And yes, yeah, this is Kent's idea of a Bible lesson. I'm really not learning much about Abednego or whatever his name is. It's kind of a cool name, honestly. Some of those random names are kind of cool.
Of the eunuchs gave names. He gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. Azariah.
Oh, so Laura, you're saying they learned to be evolutionists. I see how it is.
Means God has helped. Here's this young kid taken away from his home, made a eunuch, lost his hope of a family, and they took away his name. God has helped. Changed it to Abednego. They were told in their culture or their trust.
Very true. Monotheism was first practiced in Egypt, and the chosen god was Ra, long before worship of your Abrahamic god. And of course, let's not forget the Zoroastrian deity. I forget the exact name of, who would have been a predecessor to the Abrahamic god in and of themselves culturally.
Nebo.
A lot of Christianity, and Christianity specifically, but some elements to Judaism, but a lot of Christianity borrows from Zoroastrianism in an interesting way.
Alone, the statue to give praise to a pagan god. Abednego means servant of Nebo, servant of Nabu, referring to the Babylonian deity associated with wisdom and writing. But you can read about.
Yeah, I like the idea in the whole Star of Bethlehem thing that it was a damn supernova that happened to happen around the time, so it was written into the story. So having the Magi being astronomers from the same school also makes sense.
About this, Isaiah
Although it's weird that their perspective would have been to investigate, to like walk somewhere to investigate what's going on, and it just happened to be over this area. It's like it's a weird story. But then again, are there any normal stories in that book?
26, Isaiah 46, Isaiah 44. All the different Babylonian gods had, everybody's a god of something, okay? You only need one, right, by the way.
No, a polytheistic construct makes a lot more sense. And in fact, Kent, actually, it's kind of interesting. In my fantasy, science fantasy, think Final Fantasy-esque, very Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 inspired world, the deities are actually a product of the planet's own magical essence. And it's actually normal people who are ascended to this. And one central deity, there's other deities who are, she kind of keeps her brother down low because that's basically how things kind of worked out. It's very, very classic story in that element. I really need to come back to all of that sometime and maybe share it with my Discord friends. The gist of that fantasy story I've been working on since 8th grade.
Down, Nebo stupid.
But I like the idea of having, multiple polytheistic construct. A lot of other fantasy I come up with has that kind of thing. Deities being limited in scope and sort of commanding one aspect of reality.
Isaiah 46. They stooped, they bowed down, they could not deliver the burden but themselves.
But then again, I'm partial to polytheism anyway.
Are gone into captivity. So here we have Abednego, mentioned 15 times, all in the book of Daniel. And he's taken away from his family. So
yeah, that's my thought on that, Joe, is that it wouldn't have. It's just something the people writing the stuff would have written in. It's like, hey, we know this exploded this time. Let's write it in our story as, the Star of Bethlehem. It's like, basing a piece of fiction and making sure to bring up something that happened in World War II and then just continuing the story somewhere weird. It's like doing Wolfenstein. It's like you just put in something real and use it as a basis and just go with the flow.
Never called by his godly name again in the Bible. The only time Azariah's mentioned is back there in chapter 1. Azariah's name is changed. They're determined to convert these kids over to believing in their stupid religion. This is what happens to you kids when you go off to college. You're going to find some professor. His goal in life is to
Zumi, did she also tell him to look at this photograph?
Destroy your faith in the Bible and get you to believe his stupid god of evolution, that time and chance and mutations can turn an amoeba to a human.
I'm just going to randomly go off into evolution again because I'm Ken Hovind.
They'll spend 3 years or 4 years trying it. Okay. That was another trip down. Poor Abednego.
Yeah, same. If I was an atheist, I would be some kind of polytheist. Actually, I was pagan before I was atheist. And if I wound up, for whatever reason, being drawn towards monotheistic concepts, I would probably be Muslim. That's the fucked up thing. It's like, ugh. If I really had to pick, why that? That's its own long ass thing to go into. We should dive into that sometime. But of course, I'm not. And I highly doubt there's ever a point unless I receive severe brain damage that I would ever consider or ever feel theistic ever again.
He didn't let it bother him, and he went on to serve the true God. The trip up, just hang in there. And you can make it through secular school and learn all their stupid stuff and still come out believing the Bible and loving God. He went through the Babylonian school system and kept his faith in the true God. Go get him, Abednego. For a long season, they'd been without the true God, the true God, the true God, mentioned a bunch of times in the Bible, the true God of eternal life.
Ah, yes, a good point. Many astrological events known from Chinese astronomers. Because church prohibited events from being recorded since the night sky isn't supposed to change.
Life, okay? There are some people that there are no gods. Gods of wood and fire, wood and stone. That's not a god. Stupid. No gods, no gods, no gods, no gods. Okay. They are not God, no gods, a bunch of the Bible. What do we know about this guy? He was made a eunuch. He lost all hope of a happy marriage and family. This is an emotional trip down on the roller coaster. Okay. He was made a high official in the heathen kingdom.
Let's note that he just said the phrase "happy marriage," implying that people can't be married. Basically, the implication was sex is an abject requirement for a happy marriage, and I mean, one could argue, but at the same rate, it's like he acts like it's the be all end all of everything. Shows where Hovind's mind is.
He was promoted. Oh, yeah. Then the king, Nebuchadnezzar, fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel. After Daniel,
Like, really, this stream is so choppy, I cannot follow. Plus, I haven't really eaten today, so I'm a little fatigued there. Should probably fire something up, but I'm lazy.
Daniel interpreted the vision. Can you see that on my chart behind me? I guess not. I'll call it up on the small one. The king, there we go. Yeah, that right there. The king had a dream, and he saw this big statue, the head of gold, the chest and arms of silver, etc. That's all described in Daniel chapter 2. And so the king interpreted.
So, I mean, we're at, one frame a minute here on Hovind's end, but is that what the giant blue dude is on his stupid chart right there? Is the statue Daniel? So it's like, okay.
The king, Daniel interpreted the dream for the king, and the king fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel and commanded they should offer him oblation and sweet odors to him. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief of the governors. Then Daniel...
Yeah, okay, it's the stupid thing he points to. Wow, okay, that's been explained. And yeah, I was going to say, come to think of it, Kent just lies.
Requested of the king that he set Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego over the affairs of the province. He got his friends promoted. Daniel sat in the gate of the king. After Daniel interpreted the king's dream, the king promotes Daniel. Daniel asked that his 3 friends be promoted as well. Abednego became a powerful political figure overnight. He went from being a king's son in Jerusalem to being a slave to being a college student. Now he gets promoted again. Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold whose height was 70 cubits. That's about 100 feet tall. That's a big statue of gold, okay? And the breadth was 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together.
What are all these fucking emotic? Now you got the little smiling halo? What the fuck? What is this? I need answers, Hovind.
The princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and the rulers, all the important political figures, came to the dedication of the image that he set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, all these guys, they gathered together and they stood before this big image of gold, 100 feet tall. Then a herald cried, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, all these music, I'm not going to name them all the musical instruments. I want you to fall down and worship the golden image that the king has set up. And if you don't fall down, we're going to cast you into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace." That's the punishment. You don't want to bow? By the way, if you don't want to take
Boy, that sounds incredibly familiar.
the mark of the beast, we're going to cut your head off. That's coming soon, folks.
Wow, and what does it matter? Then you're met with Magic Sky Daddy. I don't understand how that's actually supposed to be a threat to you people who think hitting the punch out clock on life sends you to Happy Sky Daddy land.
Okay. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of all these instruments, they fell down and worshiped the golden image that the king set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king, Nebuchadnezzar, "O king, live forever." They always said that to the king. Look, guys, he's not going to live forever. I know you got to say that to keep your promotion, okay?
No, that's not how shit works.
The king has made a
Or maybe it is. I don't know. I stopped paying attention.
decree.
And for a second there, I thought he was talking about, to keep your paycheck, keep your money. It's like, whatever. Whatever. Yeah.
King, you said every man that doesn't bow down and worship the image is going to be thrown into the fiery furnace. Here we know. He became a target of the weaponized Justice Department. They came after him.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there you go. It's like, you're all out to get me. It's a conspiracy. How does it feel, Kent, thinking that everyone is out to get you when really all we are is here to laugh? How does that feel? Do you enjoy not being able to sleep at night?
Because of their refusal to bow down. Abednego said, I ain't bowing. When you have the corrupt politicians coming after you and corrupt judges and corrupt.
I could get ChatGPT to read this story better, summarize it for us. Dude, we should do that. We should totally do that. I should just literally get AI to just, like, the whole damn Bible, just piece by piece, and just publish that. That'd be fucking hilarious. Just make a whole channel dedicated to it and just publish that shit and lap up the sweet Christian ad revenue.
Police coming after you. It's a downward trip on the roller coaster, okay? A reckoning over Biden's weaponized Justice Department. Weaponized Justice Department.
Oh, here he goes. He's gone from the Bible to complaining about Biden. That's a weaponized Justice Department, all right, but the Gestapo running around deporting American citizens, that's perfectly fine.
In the news a lot the last year, okay? Weaponized Justice Department. Remember they went after Trump? 90-some times they tried to...
Remember when he was convicted? Remember how for some fucking reason, because this country's run by fucking retards, he wasn't immediately thrown in the fucking slammer like he should have been? And somehow the piece of shit's president again? It's okay. He's going to go down in history as America's Hitler. Thankfully, with less of a kill count. Only by virtue of ineptitude and the fact that half of this country isn't completely fucking mental is stopping that from happening.
Victim of some kind of crime to put him in jail. It was used against Abednego 2,600 years ago. I was a victim of this weaponized Justice Department 20 years ago. President Trump understands it quite well right now. Ending the weaponization of federal government. Executive order. Go get him, Trump. Okay. Let's see.
Yes, when Donnie Boy signs executive orders, he's going to get him. But when Obama or Biden or anybody else would sign a single one, it was a breach of power. Yes, how convenient.
The liberal lunatic left would try to require all people to finance death in the womb. They want everybody to pay for that, don't they?
Yeah, abort all babies. Fucking morons. That's everyone's opinion. Kill them all. No. Healthcare needs to be funded. And abortion is healthcare. Not for the baby. It's not a baby yet, Kent, for one. We can get into all those details. But in the end, the life of the woman who exists currently takes precedence over the potential child. It's not a pleasant thought. Y'all need to understand, all you pro-life fuckwits, is that no one likes abortion. I don't like the idea. But I'm also not going to stand in the way of someone who I'm not that person. Their right to choose what they do with their body. Which includes whether to be effectively host to what amounts to a parasite. Now, you're going to read into that and be like, you just called a baby a parasite. Definitionally, it is, excluding the fact that it's, not an invasive organism, that it is, offspring. There is a difference there, but otherwise it's functionally identical in that regard. And given the nature of some pregnancies, it only makes sense that termination of such would be ideal because the health risks to the mother or the inviability to begin with of the fetus. Notwithstanding the amount of times that women will miscarry without ever realizing it, those that it'll happen in the middle of pregnancy, the stuff just doesn't work. Is God responsible for those? According to y'all, he would be. And they treat this as if people who just every other person who gets pregnant is just going and murdering it just because they don't fucking want it. And it's like, no, that kind of situation is basically never the case. And let's not ignore that you don't care what happens once the child is born. All you care about is that it is born. You're not pro life, you're pro birth. You're pro burden, and that's it. So miss me with that shit, Hovind.
They want everybody to pay for the silly teaching of the silly and dangerous evolution religion.
Oh, you were going into the evolution thing, which is irrelevant to the abortion subject in all actuality, but you want to tie it together with something that evangelicals like you find icky and can't rationalize until it happens to you. Because it's funny how many right-wing government officials, preachers, etc., will have their mistresses and the like that they're, of course, not supposed to have abortions. And you just turn a blind eye to that.
Mind of these left-wing lunatics, everybody should pay for evolution to be taught.
Like, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be very real here for a moment. You know what fucks with my head? I don't have kids. I had one ex who it was a bit of a distance thing, and she thought after we had met up that she had some paranoia issues, and she thought I was gonna abandon, like leave her. I was gonna be like, okay, I had my fun, you know. She thought I was gonna be a jerk. Like, she didn't think it, but like she did. So she faked that she was pregnant and like lied to me about it. That kind of fucked me up in the head. But like, you know, no one's ever been pregnant. I've never had that experience of having a partner who's, you know, going to have a kid, me being a parent, anything like that. But I think about the fact that there is most definitely a non-zero chance that something could have begun the process, but didn't take, and none of us would have ever known it. So there's a non-zero chance just by nature, and this is true for most anyone who's done the deed and, you know, the right way. Ask your mommy and daddy, Hovind. That there could have been fertilization, possible up to low-level implantation, and something didn't work out, and things just got flushed, and you never knew. And that fucking sucks to think about. It hurts. I'm going to be honest. It fucking hurts to think. The hypothetical. I can't let it consume me. And I also understand that that's just nature. That's how stuff goes. There's obvious reasons things don't implant, and it is what it is. But it's a weird thought. I don't know. I just thought that'd be worth sharing at this point. You know, I'll slowly open up more to my audience, because no one except the hardcore people are going to sit through all this. And if you're already this far in the video, then you obviously like me, my characteristics enough that me bringing this up wouldn't be too weird to you. Or it's fucking freaky and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Chris? I don't know. But it goes back to, you know, nobody's getting abortions just because they fucking want to. You know, you crack the joke about Hobag goes out and, you know, gets an abortion every week or something. It's like, that's not how that shit works. Now, if you want to argue plan B is that, then, you know, not really. You're just kind of creating the same situations that naturally happen anyway, where things don't fucking implant, things don't quite happen right, because it all boils down to chemistry. Let's remember that in the end, it's all chemistry. There's no magic involved. And yeah, I don't know where to seg into from that beyond going back to the Hovind stream itself. I didn't really have a conclusion there. It was just something worth bringing up as a thought to show that my very much pro-choice self, how I feel on the ideas from a personal standpoint. And I would certainly hate if I was in any kind of situation with a partner and that was the option we had to go down. I would fucking hate it. And if I was with somebody and they were wanting to go that route, it would fucking hurt. I'd try to talk, you know, I'd give my say in things, what I feel. But in the end, I also believe that virtually anyone I'd be that close of a relationship with, if they were choosing that option, it wouldn't be just because they would know that they would have been medically informed, like something is very wrong here, and it wouldn't be up for much of a debate. It'd be understood. I don't know. This idea these people have that everyone just wants to kill all babies is so fucking ridiculous. But that's the way they're going with this stuff. That's all Kent thinks. Talking about with the shit yesterday, they want to make the population growth 0. It's like, no, that's not anything at all.
It's not science. It's a stupid religion. Go teach it in a private school. You need to get it out of our.
It's not, Kent. Every time you fucking say that, I'm just gonna keep saying it's not, and you saying it doesn't make it so, dumbass.
Public schools. It's not part of science. Abednego and his friends were arrested by the similar morons of his day. So was I. Go back on February 1st, about a year ago.
My persecution. I was put in jail unjustly. I read the documents, dipshit.
On my channels, open letter to President Donald Trump. Watch that. See what you think, okay? Whoso falleth not down in worship, he should be cast into the burning fiery furnace. See these guys accusing these men in front of the king. There were certain Jews, king, these Jews, there's been hatred of the Jews for all history, okay? You set them over the affairs. They have not regarded thee, king. You better go get them. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, do not ye serve my gods? Hey.
We've got a pretty deep one that goes in with what I was going on that our friend Zumi is bringing up, and I hate for Buzz Killington to pop up, but this needs to be shared. The Zumi side says she had a friend that was raped when she was 14, got pregnant, doctor told her she'd die and the baby would die if she had the baby, and her parents wouldn't allow it because, quote, God will fix it, unquote. Followed up with, she died. Rather, her parents wouldn't allow an abortion. Sorry, character limits, yeah. And that's the option these clowns want. That's what these clowns want to happen. It's fucking sickening. And it was one of the things early on that cemented to me, when I was a teenager myself, cemented to me the idea that these right-wingers, this is coming off of Clinton era, going into Bush era. 99 to 03 was my high school years. Yeah. Especially growing up, in the South. Granted, it is outer Memphis, the Bartlett area. But it was still, churchy McGee's all around. And it's just like, this is evil. This idea of not wanting medical care is fucking nightmarish. But what do you expect from these kinds of assholes?
Guys, I sent you to school for 3 years to learn all this stuff. I paid for all that. You don't serve my gods? You don't worship the image that I set up? What's wrong with you? Here, what do we know about Abednego? His political enemies targeted him to be called into court to answer to the king, egotistical king. They knew the king would kill him. They knew this king. Here we are going down again on the roller coaster. Does this make sense to any of you? Have you had a life going up, down, up, down, up, down? Okay. King said, now, if you be ready, at what time you hear all...
Yeah, Laura, little moments like that might be the only hint anybody had of like, is that what I think it is? It's terrifying. And you never know for sure. I mean, I guess, take it to some medical place and be like, hey, this happened. What was this? But, it's like, who's gonna pay for that? Who's gonna think to do that,
These instruments, fall down and worship. It'll be well with you. But if you don't, you're going to be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace. Who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? This king has an ego problem. Okay, he's a narcissist. Even God
Hovind has an ego problem. He's a narcissist.
can't get you out of my hands, he said. So they said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego said, King, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. We're not careful. The word careful has changed meanings over the centuries, okay? What do we know about this guy? He wasn't scared by the king's threats. He served the King of Kings. This word careful means full of care.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. So the point of this Bible story is Kent hates left-wingers and he was unjustly punished for his crimes. The same point as every Bible story Kent tells. And I think we all agree with Tyler here that it's terrible to hear that story, Zumi. Hear that happened. For that to have happened. I know you all know what was being said there, but I like to be super clear on things. Just, it's fucked up, man. Boy, this has really become a depressing stream.
Today it means, be careful, don't step on that or something. Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things. Be careful for nothing. Don't be full of care. So the Shadrach, Abednego said, we're not worried about it, King. We're not going to bow. The cares of this world, the cares of the world are talked about in the Bible, the cares of this life. Okay. They said, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O King. But if not, we think God can do it. But if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow.
Just frozen solid. If the audio wasn't choppy, it wouldn't be so bad. And honestly, well, no, I was going to say, honestly, this doesn't need the slides, but it actually really, really does. Like, Hovind could really just be audio and it'd be fine, but he doesn't know how to do a podcast. Their podcast is just going to be the audio from the show. Hovind's not going to be aware of that, so he's going to keep saying, look at the slides.
They're saying this to, King of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. We will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image. There's a song in our hymn book there in front of you. He is able to deliver thee.
Yeah, well, will it get me room and board? Because I'll fucking do it.
Tis the grandest theme through the
room and board, food and board.
ages rung. Tis the grandest theme for a mortal tongue. Tis the grandest theme that the world ever sung. Our God is able to deliver thee. I love that song, okay? So they're standing there, King, I'm sorry. We're not going to bow. We're not going to bend. Oh, Johnny Cash did a great song. Anybody remember that one? Now, the prophet Daniel tells about 3 men who walked with God, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Before the wicked king they stood. The king commanded them bound and thrown into the fiery furnace that day. But the fire was so hot that the men were slain that forced them on their way. They wouldn't bend. They
Ugh, Hovind singing.
held unto the will of God, so we are told. They wouldn't bow. I can't sing like Johnny Cash. I can't sing like anybody. Anyway, they would not bow to the knees to the idols made of gold. They wouldn't burn. I love it. They wouldn't bend. They wouldn't bow. They wouldn't burn. Anyway, what do we know about these guys? He and his friends took a stand and would not bow to.
No, Zumi, it's important to share stories like that. The stories need to be told. The people need to be remembered. The events need to be remembered. That things go the way they go, that they went the way they went for the exact reason they did, needs to be, brought up when appropriate. So that people understand that what we will say in the abortion debate, the concerns we have are very real and have been demonstrated. We shouldn't have to defend stuff this way. It should be, it's like common sense, but we all know that shit ain't common.
Idol. Go get them, guys. Going up again. Nebuchadnezzar, full of rage, full of fury, and the form of his visage was...
Yeah, good point. The Kent Arnrod discussion was audio only from Kent, but Kent thought his slides were showing. Remember at the end, Aaron's like, your show hasn't been working all day, or your camera hasn't been working all stream, or whatever. He was so tired of it. Were you drunk, Mr. Ra? Well, I am known to, be a bit of a beer snob. It was great.
Changed against Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. He spake, and they commanded to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than it was wont to be heated. You can look up the word want in the Bible.
Yeah, how the hell were they going to do that with primitive-ass stuff? You can only get it so hot. Unless you've really engineered things and created, effectively a blast furnace. If you've thermodynamically created something with eddy currents and such that... Eddy currents, with currents, airflow that just improve thing. You got bellows going full blast, going air in there. I mean, you can only get so hot.
Kind of changed meaning that it was supposed to be heated. This furnace is really burning, okay? He commanded the most mighty men in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they cast them into the...
Yeah, Tyler. So the moral of the story is they had no right to take all DVD number 5. Hovind, any questions? Keeping in mind the only ones I want to answer are about how I'm persecuted, and I don't actually want to discuss the Bible at all. Unless it happens to be about rapture and post-apocalyptic shit, because then I can go on a tirade about, I used to be pre-trib, and now I'm post-trib. Haha, see, I can be wrong once, Hovind.
Burning fiery furnace. Strongest guys in the army, tie them guys up, throw them in. These men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and other garments, and they were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Let me just give you one more reason why you should use the King James Bible and none of the rest of them. Watch this. King James, they were cast into the burning fiery furnace, right? Look what it says in the New Living Translation. They were thrown into the furnace.
Here's the part where I popped in earlier. I remember talking about this.
They were tied up and thrown into the furnace. Look, that's a furnace. I would go in there today because it's not on fire.
Hey, Kent, the furnace isn't supposed to be on fire. There's supposed to be a fire in the furnace, but the whole furnace isn't supposed to be on fire. If your furnace is on fire, you are having furnace trouble.
Burning. This is a burning fiery furnace. I would not want to go in there. All these versions, they take away that part.
Wow, we can't see anything because you're running at 12K a second, or 12K a second. Yeah, 12 kilobits a second. Terrible stream, Kent. Terrible stream.
You get cast into the furnace. No, it was a burning. It was on fire. To say they're thrown into the furnace, you missed the point. I could walk into the furnace today. So could you, if it's not on fire.
Nothing's working right on Hovind's stream. I couldn't even tell you why it's all behind like it is. Kent doesn't have enough money for a Trump pardon, exactly.
Holman Christian Standard Bible says they threw Daniel into the lion's den.
You know what? I got it. I know how Hovind would get a pardon from Trump. If Hovind agreed that all the references to Donald Trump in the Epstein files were replaced with Hovind's name. Now, if they could do that, obviously they just put in whoever the hell they want, and that would be an incredible breach of, everything. But since when has a little data manipulation been trouble for a corrupt government?
Message Bible, they threw him into the lion's den. King James, the den of lions. What's the difference? Well, that's a lion's den. I'd go in there today, as long as there's no lions in it. That's a den of lions. I don't want to go in there. See?
Wow, he's really splitting hairs.
Is it a lion's den or a den of lions? It's little changes like that that really mess up these new Bibles, folks. Just throw them all away, get a King James, okay? You don't throw them all away, put them on your shelf. But
yeah, make me, motherfucker.
refer to them. Okay, here's King James. Joseph and his mother marveled at those things when he was 12 years old, Jesus. Huh. Holman Christian. His father and mother amazed. Was Joseph his father? No. Let's see, let's compare it to American Standard. His father and mother were marveling. This is heresy. Joseph wasn't his father. CEV, Contemporary English Version. Jesus' parents were surprised. King James, the wicked shall be turned.
You know, Kent, I'm pretty sure Joseph had legal custody. As such would have existed at the time. You're seriously splitting hairs in the worst kind of semantic game right now. It's very, very pathetic.
Into hell, NIV, the wicked return to the grave. This makes no sense. I think everybody goes to the grave. King James, God will provide himself a lamb. NIV, God himself will provide the lamb. Well, is there a difference there? Think about it. New American Standard. God will provide for himself the lamb. Here we have in the King James a double meaning. God's going to provide a lamb right now, and God's going to provide himself to be a lamb. God's going to come down and die for you.
If we're lucky.
You lose that in the NIV for sure, and they really screw it up in the New American Standard. God will provide for himself. Does God need a sacrifice?
And yeah, exactly, Laura. I mean, you could just draw the conclusion from the previous fucking verse that the furnace was on fire. What an idiot. By the way, I just want to know, when y'all comment and I read your comments, how does it make you feel to hear your words come through my voice? And I don't ask that to be like super ego or anything. Although I think when I do get in the groove of my announcer voice, it's quite pleasant, quite good. I've been complimented on it before. But seriously, just that, you guys like my content, you put your comments in there, and then I'll read them. How does that make y'all feel? What do you think when I do that? Because, like the first time I sent AJ a super chat and he read it, it was so cool. I'm just like, that's what I said, and he's reading it. Oh, it's awesome. No, I guess you're going to get that vibe from me. I don't know. Love you guys and gals and people of all gender identities.
Did God sin? Throw it away, folks. Trust me.
And yeah, Zumi, exactly. I mean, he wants to be petty and be like, well, a lion's den's just the den, but a den of lions has the lions in it. It's like the presumption is that the lion's den has the lions in there, that they're there currently. Otherwise, it's not that dangerous of a place, and that would kind of defeat the story's purpose. So, just saying.
King James. Elhanan, the son of somebody with a big name, slew the brother of Goliath. NIV. Elhanan slew Goliath. I don't think that's possible. He'd been dead for a while. His head's gone. I don't think he came back for that one, okay? Judah yet ruleth with God.
Yeah, like your Jeebus who never existed, so he sure as hell ain't coming back because he was never here to begin with. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? I don't fucking know. Why are we doing this? Because Hovind he's stupid. His streams, this is how he does. He can't come up with just a focus on a character and a story. He has to do all this crap. When you read my comments, I giggle like a fangirl every single time. Neat. Tyler points out, we love it when the comments are read. Some of us live for the acknowledgement of our comments. Well, I'm sure you've got other awesome reasons, but that's definitely a reason to come to my stream. That I try to be interactive. That's why I love using Restream, because I can actually read everything. And trust me, I read everything unless I miss something. That's part of why I put them on the screen. One, so everyone else can see them, and two, just for the sake of me being able to read it. Zumi, she says, I feel like you're actually paying attention to the chat, and I do fangirl a little bit over it. Neat. Laura adds in, I feel like they were talking about, on the lion den thing, they were talking about a lion's den. I would assume there were lions in it unless specified otherwise. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
NIV. Judah is unruly against God.
I mean, if they say go to the city in the Bible, do they have to say the city of people? Or is it understood that people are going to be in the city? Or is, Jesus just going to go and it's going to be a fucking ghost town? Suddenly the man's in Pripyat, hanging out at the fucking disco, Tech Electronique or whatever its name was. Was it Electronique? I think it was. Hotel Policia was Policia or something like that, which has no relation to the word police. Was the hotel in Pripyat. I don't know. I actually don't know how to pronounce a lot of stuff involving Pripyat.
Is that saying the same thing in more modern language? No. Judah is also unruly against God. King James.
Hey, Kent, which translation is actually more accurate to the proper text? Which one converts the same ideas understood by those who read it in the Greek, in the Aramaic, in the Hebrew, in the what the fuck ever, to today's understanding of language. That's what matters. Language is not a one-for-one translation. And it seems like you're just playing the game of picking something particular just because. Which, granted, I did the same, but that's because my Bible was $2.99 at Goodwill on August 16th of 2014. And so I bought it for that reason. Because I ain't spending real money on a goddamn Bible. Fuck that shit. Although I legitimately kind of wish the Bible that was on the coffee table when I was growing up, I had that. Not like I even care, but it was a thing from my childhood. It'd be interesting to have. And it was a KJV, which was one of the first hints of what the fuck is going on. Why are there different versions of the Bible? There should just be the one. So that right there set me upstage way as a kid. I was too smart for my own damn good. Anyway, I forgot where I was. Oh, yeah, you suck.
Philippians 2. Who being thought in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Jesus didn't think anything about it. He was God. How about NIV? Who being in very nature God.
Chris, it's actually a good idea. Says, believe people like can't prefer KJV because it's harder for his followers to read and understand for themselves. Very much so.
Did not consider equality with God something to be grasped. No, that's not what it means. Throw it away. There are three that bear record in heaven: the Father, the Word, the Holy Ghost. These three are one. NIV.
And Space Ghost.
There are three that testify. That's the end of the verse. They took off the rest.
No, Kent, this is a fine example of where stuff was added in. The KJV being written around with the Trinity already being an established concept, and thus they worked that in there from whatever predecessor texts were there, is my understanding. That's a fine example of where they added in, though. Now, it's interesting that the NIV says the three that testify. I wonder where it goes from there, but I don't really want to look into it. But it could be some of the predecessor text continue with an idea that planted the seed for the Trinity concept, which is used as a justification to worship Jesus because Jesus is the God character, and then you got to have this Holy Spirit that's mentioned occasionally, so you just make it three things in one.
Don't believe in the Trinity. 1 John 5:7. There are three that testify. The Spirit bears witness. The Spirit is truth. There are three that testify. Where's the rest of the verse, guys? There's witness. 1 John 5:7. 7. There are 3 that testify. The Spirit bears witness. The Spirit is truth. There are 3 that testify. Where's the rest of the verse, guys?
Oh my fucking god, I was just muted for all of that. Oh my fucking god. Fuck it. This stream is over. Y'all just missed the most incredible bit of what the actual fuck. Because I went. Let me summarize everything for you. Because fuck. Fuck. Okay. So I pulled it out. I pulled out my Bible. Pulled out my NIV, right? And I went through and I was like, okay, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Okay, let me find John. And then I went to John 5:7 and was like, this isn't right. So I'm like, is there a different John? I mean, it just says John. There's no first John. I figured there'd be a second John. Then I go through and I'm like, oh, wait, there is a John 1, John 2, etc. towards the very tail end. And then I'm like, why that? I'm like, hey, this is the entire chain of jokes I made. It's like, hey, that's like having a film Rocky, and then the next film we make, the sequel, is Rocky 1. Just something stupid like that. And then I saw that it moves on to 2 John and then 3 John, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why are these even separate things? And why aren't they just part of the other thing? Why is this not John 2? And all this compiled together. And I have literally had conversations longer than with customers at work than 2 John and 3 John. So what the actual fuck? And then I read the actual text in for John 5:7 in here, where it stressed. Let me go to it for 5:7, where it says, for there are 3 that testify, the Spirit, the water, and the blood, and the 3 are in agreement, which goes into metaphorical stuff. That's when I slammed the Bible down, ironically, on my trash can, and then noticed I was fucking muted. I am so fucking pissed at that muting, because that was all fucking incredible in real time. God fucking damn it. Fuck.
There are 3 that bear record, the Father, the Word, the Holy Ghost, and these 3 are one. They took it out. They don't like it. There are 3 that testify, 3 that testify, 3 that... Most all of them do that.
No, it seems that the original text was metaphor, and then content regarding the Trinity was added in, Kent.
The Spirit is truth. Well, what about the Trinity part of it? 3 witnesses, 3 witnesses. Anyway, frustrates me. These 3 are one. At least Webster's Bible Dictionary got it right. Okay, 3 that testify, 3 that it's just check 1 John 5:7 in your Bible. Is that all it says? There are 3 that testify. Then get a real Bible. Throw it away. These 3 are one. Okay. Anyway, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace was hot.
And Laura brings up, before the muting fiasco, that's the Johannine comma, one of the insertions.
Flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. The soldiers that threw them in, it was so hot, they died outside the furnace.
Yeah, I really need to find some Mormons and be like, hey, I want to book a Mormon. Now, don't contact me. I want to look at this myself. I need to do the same thing with Quran. I need to do the same with all kinds of holy books. If they're just giving them away, I will take them for the library. Like, I'll do that.
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said to his counselors, didn't we throw 3 guys in there? Yeah, true, O king.
Yeah, well, 4 came out. What?
He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking.
Oh my god, I was just cracking a joke. I hadn't even looked up on the screen. Holy shit. I literally had no clue that was what was coming. I just decided to make the joke. Oh, there I go. I'm choking on my own laughter here.
In the midst of the fire, they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. So the fire only burned their ropes. Maybe your trial you're going through is maybe to set you free. Think about that, okay? King James says, Nebuchadnezzar called him the Son of God. Look at it. He answered and said, I see 4 men loose. Have no hurt. The form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Capital S, capital G. What did New Bibles do with that one? King James says he's the Son of God. Holman Christian Standard said, I see 4 men walking around. The fourth looks like a son of the gods.
Which is probably a more accurate translation to the original text. Because we know the KJV was written with an agenda.
Question, is that different? Like really different? English Standard.
And so notice it's an automatic presumption that, oh, this is newer, therefore it's going to be less accurate.
A son.
Yet the KJV is supposed to be more accurate because it's a newer retranslation than the other ones. So only that one has the right to be right.
Of the gods. Message Bible, a son of the gods. New Internet NIV, the non-inspired version, a son of the gods. The fourth looks like a god. All of them are small g. What do we know so far? He was thrown into the fire, which only burned his bands. He saw the miracle of God protecting him.
But then how's he going to make the ladies dance? Because as we all know, bands that make a dance. Yeah, you like them older song references from like the 2010s?
Can you imagine being thrown into the midst of a fiery furnace that kills the guys outside, and pretty soon your ropes burn off and you stand up and look around? You know anybody else in history that's ever done that?
We don't know that those guys did it. It's just another story inside of your fairy tale. And lots of people have survived fire in that case, Kent. Lots of characters of equal validity. Hell, playing Final Fantasy VII, fighting Sephiroth, he used fucking Shadow Flare, man. Shadow Flare. That's not like normal fire. That's a fucking flare. But it's like shadow. Cloud tanked that shit, then cast Knights of the Round. Because that's what was queued up. And then after that, Limit Break, Omni Slash, motherfucker. Yeah.
He got to meet and walk with Jesus, the Son of God. That's quite an experience, okay? Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Wait, hold it.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for that info, Laura.
The king said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come forth and come hither.
Isn't that what you got to say to open up the Necronomicon? Oh, no, that was Klaatu Verada Nikto.
Notice he did not invite
Klaatu Verada
Jesus to come out. You see that? Yeah. King was getting closer to believing, but he wasn't quite ready for this yet. You don't want Jesus in his kingdom. Some of you don't want Jesus in your heart either, because he's going to want to rearrange the furniture. Yeah, that's why.
Okay, look, let's be very, very clear. There is only one context where the concept of rearranging organs is accepted, and we cannot discuss that on YouTube. It is against terms of service. Because when a really kinky guy and a really kinky whoever love each other very much, sometimes things get really, really fun. If you weren't such a square, you might understand that, Kent. But the fact that you even have touched a woman and not gone, ew, cooties, is amazing.
The princes, the governors, the captains, the king's counselors being gathered together saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed. Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire. Couldn't even smell the fire. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have...
Now, see, that right there, Kent, why can't your deity do anything like that today? That would demonstrate to people, oh shit, this shit's real. But it doesn't. Doesn't fucking care. And if the best your deity has is fuckers like you, Matt Powell, etc., that's a pathetic deity and no deserve of worship.
Change the king's word. You guys changed my mind. and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God. Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill. Your wife is not going to like that if they've turned the house into a dunghill, okay? Because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon into the furnace, promoted up again. What do we know? His stand converted the.
Well, I'm glad it's laundry day because one of the cats just puked right on a clean shirt of mine. So I'll just add that to the pile for stage 2.
King and many of the politicians. God promoted him again. Look, your life's going to be ups and downs. Just get ready for it. Get on the roller coaster and buckle up. You're going on the ride. Okay? I said to the fools, do not deal foolishly. Lift not up the horn. Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east or the west or from the south, but God is judge. He putteth down one, he setteth up another. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace to the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. If you stick with the Lord, he will promote you when he's ready. It might be at the end of your life when you're promoted up in heaven. It might be down here on earth. I don't know. Just trust him, okay? But the fools are going to be promoted to what? Shame. Bible says the fool said in his heart, there's no God. Listen, if you don't believe in God, you atheists, you're fools. Shame on you. And you want to teach that to other kids.
Say it with me, everyone. There's Alucard. He is not happy after vomiting on my clothes. You want that, buddy? Here you go. I don't know if y'all could hear that. He's
Real
it's
shame
funny,
on you.
he's the vocal one. His sister Cormier is not vocal. And I actually realized that means he was probably the one when I rescued the pair that was under the car meowing to where Kit ran over to be like, hey, that's my baby. And then Cormy would have been the one under the grill just a little ways in front of the car where I found Alucard. Anyway, say it with me, everyone. Magic book full of bullshit says people are fools who don't believe magic book full of bullshit. Also, water makes things wet. Film at 11.
Abednego had those ups and downs too. I think I'm going to enjoy talking to him up in heaven. What was it like walking around in the fire? That'd be cool. I don't want to try it. Okay. Children of Israel were numbered. They were all present and went against them.
I mean, I don't know, man. Isn't heaven kind of like a holodeck where you can just do whatever you want? I mean, you just try it out. You feel like it, go for it.
And the children of Israel pitched before like two little flocks of kids, but the Syrians filled the country. They got a huge army attacking them. They're way outnumbered. And there came a man of God and spoke to the king of Israel and said to the Lord, thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, the Lord is God of the hills, but he's not God of the valleys. Therefore, I will deliver all this multitude into your hand.
So God's a boob man and not an ass man. Copy that.
Because these guys said, their God only is God of the valleys, only God of the hills, not God of the valleys. We're going to attack them a different way. Look, even when you don't understand or see him.
I mean, at least I hope it's the shirt that he landed on. Otherwise, it might be an Xbox.
Hold on. Don't bend. Don't bow. You won't burn.
Oh, and Hovind crocodile tears, and I already have to wash the bed sheet itself. Give it a detailed one because Mimi, who's been hanging out here, she puked on it. So yeah, just a bunch of puking cats today. Go figure. And if I could afford good cat food.
You having a hard time?
Oh, I had dumbass paused as well. Fuck you, Hovind. Fuck you and your crocodile tears. I'm having a hard time. You know what would help stop that hard time? If you sent over $1,000, I would stop doing videos on you if you sent $1,000. True story.
In life?
I know my audience would hate that, but deal's a deal. It's like I'll stop talking shit about Musk ever again for 10K.
Been there, done that. Been 57 years now. I'll be a Christian in February. I've been up and down, up and down, up and down.
And yep, everything asserted without evidence can be rejected without evidence. And I'm sure you were up and down a lot in prison, Kent.
Just do what Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego did. Don't bend, don't bow, don't burn. Simple. Let's pray. Heavenly Father.
No, we're not going to pray. And yeah, that's exactly what I do. I don't bend, I don't break, I don't bow to your deity or any of your stupid ideas or terror tactics. I'm my own person. I see the world for what it is, at least what it presents itself to me as, which is just reality. Don't really have a way to describe it. And I kind of love that. I don't need magic to appreciate the universe. It's awesome because it's fucking awesome. That's all there is to it.
Thank you for this amazing story.
Story sucked.
Lord, I can't wait to get to heaven and see these guys.
I mean, okay, I'm going to be real. You know, throwing some dudes in fire and them coming out fine is pretty fucking awesome. It's kind of a cool story. And as Laura brought out the fact that these Old Testament stories were written around the same time as the Odyssey really makes them make a lot more sense. And if you look at them as just individual little fun stories, it ain't so bad. Like if you rewrite everything to where it's not actually Judeo-Christian, it'd be cool. But yeah.
Guys that went through stuff and Lord, and stood firm. I pray that you use them to inspire us to stand firm when things are going bad, everything's falling apart. Help us not to abandon you, Lord. Help us just to say, we're not going to bow. Sorry. Do what you got to do, but we're not bending. We're not bowing. Pray that you raise up some Christians to be warriors, Lord. Get some kids going to secular college, facing the stupid stuff like Abednego did.
Yeah. No comment.
Learning about all these crazy gods. Help those kids make it through that trial, Father. Help them to come out stronger, more determined to stand for you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow night. We have another Bible character. I'll surprise you with that one. Okay.
That's it? You only got one for Shabernigdo here? You did 4 for Aaron, and they were the same dang thing. Watch it. He's going to do Aaron again.
Joseph. Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah, up yours, Hovind, wherever you traditionally cram things. Wow, okay, that stream was a train wreck. Yeah, I don't have any additional commentary. This was one of the streams of all time. Wow. That's that. Don't know if I'm going to stream again. Probably not, but there's still a chance I might. I'll let you know in Discord. If you're not in the Discord, links down below. Links to other things that I work on are also down below. And that's that. I'll catch everyone next time here on the World Wide Web of the Internet. Oh, gotta add in this comment. The universe is too weird to have been created by a goat herder's projection of his daddy issues. Exactly. And yep, everyone have a good day.